Ladies and bloody gentlemen, we are in Brisbane CBD. I'm speaking in public and I hate speaking in public, so I'm already facing one of my fears today. But this video is an awesome one. I want you to stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to be having an interview with Matt, who is the reason I am where I am today. So, I'm in Brisbane and I've never been to Brisbane. But I am here because I have a client who is running a half marathon tomorrow. So I flew over yesterday and we've been having a ball. We went for big steak night yesterday, spent like $400 on steak. That was a lot more than I was expected to spend on steak. We didn't even have any alcohol. Like that's just steak. That is just meat, basically. What else did we do? We went on a shakeout run this morning. That was really, really cool. Had a nice coffee, had a great chat. And it's just like, you know, for someone that I've been with for so long, I've been helping Matt for 16 months now. And for our first 12 months, our goal was weight loss. Successfully, he lost 20 kilos in that time. It was phenomenal. And over the last 4 months, I've been helping him go from running 0 Ks a week to, you know, successfully running 21 Ks tomorrow, fingers crossed. And I'm really excited to be here to cheer him on, for one, to be part of that journey and that experience for him. And yeah, what a better way what's a better way, I should say, to like honor him by actually like being there tomorrow and cheering him on and documenting the experience. So in this video, you're going to see that. You're going to see him crossing the line, him smashing his expectations of himself. Right now, his expectation is just to finish. We don't care about time. We don't care about pace. Our goal should just be, let's finish the race. We don't care how long it takes us. So I'm really excited. I'm proud of him for everything that he's done over the last 4 months. Tomorrow is going to be an early morning wake up. We're talking like 4 or 5 a.m. wake up to get to the event. And yeah, I'm going to show you him finishing the event. We're going to have a awesome brekkie together after. And then we're going to have a bit of a chit chat about his experience working with me. And yeah, it's going to be an awesome kind of time to reflect and just see how far he's come. So continue to the end of this video for that. And I will see you tomorrow. Take care. There we go. Yeah, all right, we'll start. I've kind of done a bit of an intro so people have a bit of understanding that I saw Matt cross the line, but what I didn't do was wake up to my alarm this morning. So instead of waking up at 4 a.m. and traveling to the event with you, I woke up at 7 and I got there for the last 5-10 minutes, I would say, which is the most important, arguably. Part, yeah. But yeah, again, I'm so sorry that I wasn't there. As for this chat, I want to basically just take it as a time to review. Like we've been working together now for 16 months, which is a long time, man. Yeah. We've got a few months before we kind of finish up. Potentially we're going to do some things after that. We'll see. But I want to talk to you about the first 12, where our focus was more on weight loss, repairing your relationship with food, and then the last 4 where we've really transitioned into, you know, running a half marathon, which this is for ultimately. So yeah, for anyone that doesn't know who you are, maybe give a bit of an intro and what life was like before me. Way before.
Okay, so I'm Matt and we are now wrapping up, coming up to 16 months. So 16-ish months ago, I was I guess struggling with a way to sustainably approach food, and a way to what felt like an impossibility, having your cake and eating it too, to borrow a food pun, in that kind of like being able to have some pretty big goals in terms of what I want my body to look like, how I want to feel in it, all that sort of stuff, while still being able to live life, do what I have fun here, have that freedom to balance that. That was probably the big struggle, trying to find that balance. It wasn't there.
So what kind of symptoms were you seeing as a result of that struggle? I know on the way here we were talking about all or nothing approaches, like binge eating as a kind of consequence. So for you, like how bad was it kind of getting?
Binge eating is probably the big one. I don't know if we almost want to say disordered, but it was a very strange kind of mindset to be in, of having to track every literal like crumb of food that I ate, right? And understand how many calories that was for my day, and then really spiraling when that wasn't, but when that didn't go as planned, to the point where it was one we'll call it a mistake, like perceived as a mistake, even to the point of like, oh well, no, I actually had an extra piece of toast or something this morning, or like tonight after, or whatever, and then it's like, well, okay, day's ruined, write it off, and I failed, and so write off tomorrow, write off the rest of the week.
why do you think that happened then? Like we were talking a bit about social media creators, like 99% of creators believe in this like all or nothing approach.
Yeah.
They make it work for them, but for the reality of people, like it doesn't work. So I guess why do you think it came? And also maybe talk to us a bit about like what exercise looked like before, because you worked with PTs, you did the whole like group training in BFTs, for example, F45s. Like, why didn't that necessarily work?
So first of all, with that kind of like all or nothing mindset, or the those creators that are like or that sort of coaching approach or weight loss approach that's tracking all your food, all your calories, all that sort of stuff. I think, and I've said this to you many a times, like if I'm trying to get on stage and like be a
Bodybuilder,
that's it,
yeah,
and that sort of thing. Yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
do it. You need to do it. That's the game, and you do it for the love of the game, and that works for you. That's great. But yeah, that's like less than 1% of people.
Yeah.
I think for most people, it becomes a bit of it's sort of almost like a negative reinforcement approach, where you have this kind of really strict sort of way you perceive that the only way to get the to look the way you want to look or have your body move the way you want it to move is by this one method, and that is this really restrictive, really all or nothing kind of approach. And I don't know why, but that's the zeitgeist, right? That's what's the
that's the norm.
That's the norm.
Yeah. Unfortunately, so.
Unfortunately, yeah. And so for me, it became a vicious cycle and a really negative reinforcement cycle where I would be like, okay, I've made this mistake, I've messed up, I'm a failure, and that kind of spirals downwards. Because I really like the quote that hurt, like you can't hate yourself into a body you'll love, right? You can't have that kind of negative mindset or that idea that you failed because you've made what you perceive as a mistake, which is not a mistake. You're just living, right? So then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Where you're like, well, I need to do all or nothing, and I didn't do all, so I guess I'll do nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was me for the longest time. And then especially, so then it's also if you have that really restrictive approach to food as well, where, okay, I have had my 3 meals or something, but it's early and I'm starving, but I'm out of calories.
Yeah, I've ran out of calories. Yeah. Like food isn't something we can just go get tomorrow.
Right. But then I will just go and like, I'll just have that little like a protein bar or whatever, some sort of thing. But then it's because it's been so restrictive and whether it's physiological, my body's like, oh, food that you need, let's go.
Yeah.
But I'm like, now I need another one.
Yeah, you open the floodgates.
Another one, and the floodgates open, and you go for it.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was the case of 2-3 hours ago I was a bit peckish, or I'm hungry, hungry or something, and I'm like, oh, you know what, I don't need to track a banana. It doesn't matter. I'm going to eat some fruit or something. It doesn't matter how many calories are in that.
Yeah.
It becomes more sustainable. Yeah.
So I guess like working with me then, how has your mindset around food and exercise changed? And I guess what biggest wins have you had? Like what actually have you taken out of this? Like from a results point of view, but also maybe like a mindset shift and perspective point of view too.
Yeah, I mean, well, from a results point of view, just show this bad boy again.
Yeah, there we go.
my finisher medal for the 21.1 Brisbane Marathon.
There we go.
6 months ago, let alone 18 months ago, 60 months ago, like this wouldn't have been, I wouldn't have even dreamed of it, kind of thing, right? Like that's probably a pretty big results-based achievement, apart from being 20 kilos down at the moment. But I think the big win is really the sustainability. And I've used that word a few times, but I think it should be
my middle name at this point.
It really should.
It really should. Kenneth out sustainability.
Because now it's like, so especially over the 6 months, right? Because we changed how I was eating because I was training for a very specific event.
Yeah.
And right, so being in under eating can really cause injuries if you're training for something like this in the short time that we were and stuff. So weight loss, like the number on the scale hasn't really changed in the past few months, but it's like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason for that. And that reason was because I was fueling my body and training my body in a way to achieve a result that I wanted, but still doing it in a way where I'm not overeating, not restricting, right? It's still that kind of, okay, well, you need to eat a bit more, especially carbs, we've talked about it, like, pretty important for this. So then, okay, well, I now have a format and a pattern that I can just do that without having to think about it too much. So I think that kind of being able to, whether it's put a meal together or just be like, yeah, I've got this and I want to eat it, like because I've prepped or whatever, having the ability to just have, oh God, I don't know what the word is, but like food at my disposal. That's probably good. Freedom.
Freedom. Ultimately, I think is the word. And you said it there, man. Like for anyone watching, by the way, that like is training for an event or something like that, it's like you can't do both. Again, you can't have your cake and eat it. You can't try to fuel for performance, but also like try to be under fueling to serve weight loss goals, for example. Like you've kind of got to pick your battles. And for the first 12 months, brilliant, we lost 20 kilos. Like how good. But for the last few months, our weight has stayed flat, but that's been because we've actually been focusing on getting the best out of Matt's body rather than trying to lose weight and get the best out of Matt's body, which, as you just said, is only going to cause injury. Like you can only stretch the band too thin or too far before it breaks, ultimately. I mean, considering that, like, what is, I guess, next for you, man? Like, where do you feel like you are right now in your kind of headspace and your kind of fitness journey? And I guess, where do you hope to be, like, 60 years from now? Like, do you feel like when we talk about sustainability, right, it's like a big line I like to use is if I work with you for 6 months, 12 months, however long, 18 months, I've worked with some clients, like, I want you to finish up and, like, know that this isn't going to be something which is just finite and you go back to your own ways in a few years. Like, do you truly feel that one day when you haven't got me supporting you, that you're going to be able to sustain this yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's that kind of like the format that we have with like the portion-based eating and the freedom that allows, as well as, you know, not even like, you know, we talk about that 80-20 rule and that sort of food freedom, but the freedom that kind of allows to be able to plan or eat what I want to eat throughout the week in a way that I know I'm going to enjoy and is going to do what I have the effect that I want for my body. Whereas previously it would be
I've got a train going by.
as the mic's picking up the express fun train. Where was I?
As you were saying, the freedom.
So the freedom to approach food in that way. I feel like I'm almost saying what I'm trying. There's one little piece that I just want to make clear on that. Like previously, especially, you know, when MyFitnessPal is like your be all and end all, and you're kind of like, well, what am I going to eat today? It's like, well, I'm going to eat the exact same meal every single day for the rest of my life. Otherwise, I can't sustain this. And that in itself is not sustainable. So the fact now that I can just be like, I don't care how many, like, it doesn't matter how many calories are in this, right? I'm building this meal or making this food in a way that I know is going to fuel my body how I need. In how we like, and that's in the portion-based sort of approach that we do, right? So in that sense, it's sustainable. Everything else, like anything else is just not, I don't want to overuse the word, but sustainable. Right? It's kind of like, and I think about this kind of yo-yo that I was on with this all or nothing approach. Sometimes you would have a good couple of weeks. This is like when I was on that prior to working with you and like doing that kind of thing. You have some good weeks. You lose a bit of weight and you're like, yeah, let's go. But it all comes crashing down so quick. And I think the biggest takeaway for me now is I can see a different trajectory. So you even say like, ask where I see myself in like at 60 years old or something. That for me, I think has been, sounds almost a bit sensational, but like that has been a big shift from where I would see myself previously, where I would have been versus now. I can see, I kind of have like a family member that's maybe has gone down that route, that has had some like, you know, pretty serious health conditions because of my obesity. And I don't know, hearing even like from growing up and hearing the kind of the similarities from, you know, mum and that sort of thing, where it'd be like, oh, just your uncle used to do the same thing, or just like going and that kind of thing. As getting older, I kind of saw, I think when I looked at myself in the mirror at my heaviest, which was probably a bit north of 120, I think, from memory. And I'm think, you know, all that sort of came back and I think, oh, okay, no, I can, like, as much as I think I'll do it tomorrow or it'll happen sometime, I'm like, no, okay, that's where I'm going to be in 60 years. Or like, well, that I'm by the time I'm 60, for example, having had pretty invasive surgery to try and correct what is essentially a poor relationship with food. But I don't see that for myself anymore. Like, because even if there's, you know, a good week, a bad week, or go traveling and, you know, eat a bit more food in Japan or something like that, it's kind of like, it doesn't the thought of that doesn't send me into like a spiral anymore.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
So good. I mean, you obviously have been supported in the past. Like, it's not like you kind of got to this weight and you were like, oh, wait, like, I should probably do something about it. I should get a coach. Like, you've worked with PTs. I mean, when we started, you were still working with a PT, right? You've done the whole group training, like an F45 type kind of exercise kind of program. You've obviously tried your own ways at losing weight yourself. So a lot of people in that position probably would have been very skeptical on getting help again, and just like, oh, is this just going to be another kind of cycle of someone giving me the sales pitch only to not fulfill those promises? So I guess, why did you put your trust in me? And what did you feel like was different to allow you to make that step?
So first, for what's different, I think those class sort of styles. If you're really fit and you enjoy them, or something, not really, you don't have to be really fit, but if you're relatively active and you enjoy them, yeah, absolutely great. If you're like as a beginner and trying to like that's your exposure to exercise and gym movements and all that sort of stuff, I just don't think it makes sense.
It's a bit of a drop in the deep end, isn't it?
It really is a drop in the deep end. And for me personally, with that, there was this being such a beginner and not understanding correct form or how much I even should try and lift and all that sort of stuff, and then being like, well, there's a literal clock on the wall ticking down 5 minutes, and I've got to let my partner have his turn as well for all his reps. I don't want to mess him up. I would just be like, all right, I'll sit this one out, because I don't want to be the reason that someone else is like, not getting in what they want from it. If I'm, or feel like that I'm just like struggling. And obviously, like there's people that are like very supportive environment and everything was great, but I just think it's not the right, it's a bit of a baptism of fire, right? It's probably not the right way for me to sort of get into that. Then so PT was a bit of a, I guess, a step up from that, where it's more one-on-one and like individualized. I think two problems with that for me personally, especially in those like really busy commercial gyms, it's kind of like, well, there is a, like, it feels a bit, there's not actual a plan or anything we're following. It's just kind of like, this guy's got 40 minutes max for me. What's available right in this time? Get the reps in, get them done, and then you're on your own. So I think the working with you, the big things are, and I'm going to say it again, that sustainable approach to food. But even like, it's more, so you're like talking to a PT or something, it's like, oh yeah, here's the calculation, eat this many calories kind of thing. Off you go. And it works for some people, sure. But the three pillars, right, that you have, where CMOPT, for example, and then 40 minutes, like, all right, see you next week. Whereas working with you, it's like, I'm texting you at like 9:30 at night sometimes, kind of like back and forth, like, hey, here's a video of me in the gym. What was this right? Was this wrong? Or, all that sort of stuff, that within reason, 24/7 availability, or that like long-term availability for more holistic, right? Sort of approach. And that accountability thing as well. I think we've had some pretty frank conversations. Well, you've had some pretty frank conversations with me at some like really, it's like maybe tenuous points where it was.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, in better words than this, but like buck up, kiddo, kind of thing. So I think you've got there's like three really impactful kind of like, I think you've called them pillars before, or like aspects of the coaching together work really well. I think that's really sets it apart from what I've experienced.
Good. Yeah, and I want to caveat as well, like with the kind of coaching approach we have, it's like trying to create a safe space, like an empowered space. But then, when we have particular goals, like when our goal isn't just like, hey, we want to lose a bit of weight, for example, where, hey, what does it matter if we do this in 4 months or 2 years, for example? Like, what's the deadline? When we've obviously got events like, Matt training for a half marathon, for example, it's like, in case you didn't. When we got situations like that, the plan needs to be a bit more structured. But again, how do we do it in a way where it doesn't feel like it's just like, this kind of negative reinforcement of kind of coaching. And it's like, trying to guilt someone into training in a way, force them into it. Lastly then, I mean, like, I ask this question to every client, right? And I try to like say it in a way that doesn't just get your reply to go, oh, just do it, man. Just like jump in it. But like, what would you say to, because this video, like, it will go out to anyone that's kind of on that kind of about to jump on a call with me talking about coaching, and like, is it for them ultimately? So if there's someone that is maybe a bit hesitant right now, that may experience some binge eating right now, may not have a great relationship with food, may want a bit more of a lifestyle kind of transformation, but something that is holistic and sustainable, but still is a bit on the fence. Like, what would your advice be?
Well, if I can't say, just do it. Then.
Yeah, without just saying that, because that's the cliche answer.
Yeah, for sure. I think
maybe if your friend was like that, if you had a friend that's saying the same stuff, was in that situation, how would you advise them?
I don't know. I'd probably just tell them to just do it. I think that like those part, because it depends what the like. So I would say. One of my first apprehensions before starting was kind of this like online coaching in general, because it's like not in person. I was like, oh, how's that going to work? But I think, funnily enough, it's worked better than any in-person coaching that I've had. Because it's not like, you know, you can say it's in person and you know, so it's better for XYZ reason. But again, if it's just 40 minutes a week or something like that with a PT, it's not the same as we'll say near constant, right? Because you've got a life to live, but like that more like no time-bound communication where we can have those conversations sometimes about, form or about how I'm feeling, about what my mindset is right now, about how I'm feeling about food and all that sort of stuff. So I think if you're looking for a safe space, maybe a softer approach as well. I think that's probably like, if that's where you are, then you've come to the right place. That'd be my advice. You've come to the right place if that's what you're looking for.
That's pretty spot on. Yeah, that's soft, supportive, and just kind of like empowered. Yeah, is kind of like how I like to kind of create the space to again feel like, you know, this person eats this way or moves their body this way because they want to, not because they're like forced to, in a way. And that's where I feel like you see the most change in people, and they also are the happiest when they're making that change as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's been a nice few days here in Brisbane. I had Matt, my tour guide, kind of helping me out at times.
Hope we turned it on. We turned the weather on for you.
It's been beautiful here. Been beautiful. I feel Melbourne is still here and Brisbane's a close second.
Okay, that's fair.
But yeah, we'll see where in Australia wants to house me. Yeah. But yeah, again, awesome work, man.
Awesome.
And,
thank you.
Yeah, super job today, mate.